So we are here at 914 Cares in Westchester, New York. Actually, we are in White Plains, New York. And so north of the city, and we are west of the coolest state, which is, of course, Connecticut. But we are here at 914 Cares with Jessica and with Marjorie and with Lisa and also with Jennifer from the Alliance for Period Supplies, which is the nationwide alliance of all of these partners, alliance member,
allied programs. We like to call them. Yeah.
Allied programs, excellent. And so, nationwide network that you guys have helped support through our Summer Direct Impact project. And I am in a room full of boxes that look like this. And these boxes, and there's a lot of them. It's lining all of the walls. This is the remnants of the pallets, plural pallets, that were delivered here. 5 pallets delivered here to 914 Cares. Each one of them several thousand period supplies, pads on each one. So this one location, I believe, was something like 45,000.
It was over 40,000.
Over 40,000 period supplies here for Westchester County, New York, which is a pretty sizable.
Yeah, Westchester County has almost 1 million people in it. So we're larger than a significant number of cities around the country, but we are a suburb of New York City, and so...
well, let's be honest, New England is a suburb of New York City.
I don't think the folks in New Haven would appreciate that sentiment. But so we do service a significant number of those living in need in Westchester. One of the things that Jennifer and I talked about earlier is being sort of a stepchild of New York City is sometimes difficult because there's so much need, obviously, in the city as well, that the suburbs sometimes get forgotten. So you all thinking of us and giving us this many period products. I mean, it looks really packed in here now, but these will all be gone before 2022.
Yep.
They'll be out into the community.
By the end of the year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you put together supply kits.
Flow kits.
Flow kits.
Them.
And so what is in a flow kit?
So anywhere between 20 and 30 period products, depending on what the products are and how many we have in stock. Right now we actually have one of our community partners, the Capitol Theater, inside packing flow kits for us. And those kits will have 8 tampons, 8 pads, and 8 liners. So about 24, and it just depends on what we have in stock. Sometimes there's more pads, sometimes there's more tampons. But we actually got a significant amount of guidance last year when we were starting from one of our sister programs, alliances in St. Louis, who helped Marjorie put together the idea about between 20 and 30 products is the right number for a month.
Yeah, to get them through their cycle and really help augment them. The reality, folks, is that while 40,000 period supplies sounds like a lot, when in reality, you're really only helping about 1,200 people.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's good math.
Good 1,200 people. Fast math. 1,200 people for a month.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
And that's it. And that's the reality that period supplies, which are an essential item for half the population, most states aren't covered by WIC, which...
They aren't covered by WIC at all.
Aren't covered by WIC at all.
Correct.
And they're taxed in over 50 states.
No, they're taxed in now, what is it?
27.
27.
I knew there was 13.
Yeah.
So 23, sorry.
Yeah.
So yes, in over half the states, period products are taxed. And also, they're not free in most states, although a lot of states, thanks to the Alliance, are changing that, especially when it comes to schools, because I'm going to give you numbers. I know these in advance, so don't think I'm good at math.
Give me the numbers.
Okay, so most menstruators start menstruating, let's say, in 7th grade, okay, and you menstruate for, let's say, 4 days a month. So students who menstruate will miss 4 days a month of school if they don't have period supplies. Most states have 10 months of school, so that's 40 days of school that they miss every year. Then you go for the 6th year, 7th, 8th through 12th. So you're talking about 240 days that a student menstruator will miss over the boys who don't menstruate. And that's like a significant amount of loss of education.
For the entire school year.
It's 40 days a school year, but in their entire menstruation period while they're in school, it's almost it's almost a full school year.
Almost
Sorry,
losing a full school year when you
Yes.
when you tally it all up. It's just you didn't have 10th grade.
The learning decline is shown to be significant. I mean, you probably have better information.
Yeah, of course. And I think that you're doing amazing, and I think that we are really, truly an honor to work alongside with organizations like 914 Care. So the Alliance for Period Supplies, as we had mentioned, is a national nonprofit organization that supports over 130 individually operated nonprofit organizations that help to distribute period products to people who most need them. And so like you're talking about, right, we're talking about distribution of period supplies, but what is also very important is to advocate for removing tampon tax, for making sure that period supplies are available for free in school so that students aren't missing school.
Right.
And so we are really, again, honored to work alongside you and for you contacting us and doing this generous donation. So we really appreciate it.
And we're thrilled to do it because it's one thing to just donate on a thing. It's a whole nother to elevate an issue and shine a light on it, and people realize, wait a minute, that's taxed? Wait a minute, how are they not free?
Yeah.
The nation of Scotland actually just made period supplies free for all citizens forever.
New Zealand as well.
New Zealand as well.
Right.
So it can be done.
Right, yeah, and yes, and I would say that Scotland is probably the size of maybe New York-ish. So it's a lot.
It's a little easier, admittedly. The entire population of New Zealand is probably only about 3 million.
Yeah. So, but it is possible, right? So here in the United States, we are making great progress in doing that, right? So recently, California just passed a law providing free period supplies in elementary and schools all the way up to college.
Which is
so
excellent.
we are making progress, but it just works differently here in the U.S. And so that's why we are working with our over 130 nonprofit organizations to help do that in every state.
Yeah, and it's vital for people who menstruate who work because you can't miss work.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, if you have to choose between food and period supplies,
You choose.
and you're going to choose food, but then you lose 4 days of work.
Right. Exactly.
Which makes it harder to make a decision between period supplies or food because you have less money. Because you're typically an hourly wage worker.
Yeah, I mean, the other interesting thing about New York, so New York was one of the first states to make period supplies free in 5th through 12th grade schools. But we were just talking before we got on film, we were talking about the pandemic and how a lot of that's come out of the pandemic is actually folks noticing poverty in general. But in New York, one of the things that really got lost in the shuffle was that students who had relied since 2016 on having free period products were no longer in school, especially in the school districts where there's the most need. Those school districts were not live at all or in person at all. And so we sort of fell back into, almost pre-2016 laws, only because the districts were just trying to get the kids educated and sometimes get food on the table when they could. Period supplies were sort of very down on their list. And so we saw an excessive need last year, especially for students.
Yeah, and organizations have been really, really fortunate to be able to get donations like this, but then also provide those period supplies in things like food drives. So for students who couldn't go to school and get these products, right, they would be able to put them alongside their lunch for the day. They would also put together some flow kits or some other period kits that they were able to bring home, not only for themselves but for their families too. So a lot of our organizations have become very innovative in their strategy on distributing these period products, even through the pandemic. And so there's some awesome things that you guys are doing. So
well, I want to finish off with one little story. So we've done the Direct Impact Project now for several years, and we have some very nice, impressive, big numbers. Tens of thousands of pairs of socks for the homeless. We've done winter hats. We've done scarves. We're at, I think, 2.7 million fun, cool kids Band-Aids for kids going through medical treatments and whatnot, like Iron Man Band-Aids, better than brown ones.
Oh, yeah.
So much more fun. Bring a smile. But we've done a lot of these direct impact projects, and they've been wildly successful. Our groups love them, and they're a lot of fun. But when we did the sock drive, which ended up being like a world record, like it was the largest sock drive ever. I was delivering socks to New York City, to the Bowery Mission in New York City. And one of our staff had actually, hey, when you're stopping by these shelters, here's a couple of bags of period supplies that I had just underneath my cabinet, in my bathroom. Can you just drop these off at one of the shelters? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll just toss them in the back of the van, and yeah, no problem. I'm at the Bowery Mission. I'm delivering the socks, and two women came up, homeless women came up, and they were looking like, what do you got there? And we've got socks. They're like, oh, socks. Yeah, can I have some socks? I'm like, I'm about to take them inside, but you know what? I'll do some on-the-spot distribution right here to two individuals who are asking for socks. Sure, here's it. You want 6 pair, 8 pair, 12 pair? Okay, great. And then one of them glanced over at the two little bags sitting in the corner of the van, and she goes, are those pads? I go, yeah. Do you guys need pads? Yes. Take what you need. Both each one of them grabbed a bag. Mm-hmm. We need them. And I was like, they are yours. And it was at that moment I was like, we need to do period supplies. Mm-hmm. Because more than socks, they treasured the bag of period supplies more than anything else.
Right, yeah.
And so I am thrilled that the Alliance for Period Supplies is doing the amazing work that you're doing, and that you've got incredible alliance partners doing the work on the ground. So thank you guys so much for what you do.
Thank you for what you do. You really, truly made a difference in the lives of thousands of menstruators in Westchester. So thank you. Thank you to everyone out there who participated, but thank you for initiating it.
Yeah. So good job, guys. You rock. Yay. And we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Bye. So, Chantel, we are here at Her Village, Inc., and so you're in Manhattan, New York. How many people a month are you supporting? How many women, parents are you supporting each month?
So between our individual distributions and our partners, we distribute anywhere from 250 to sometimes even like 500 moms a month.
Nice. So 250, 500 moms a month. And so you do period supplies. There's diapers, there's
baby wipes.
We
have a little free library. We do postpartum care kits, and we also do like clothing and like special event things like holiday, Mother's Day, things like that.
How long have you been with Her Village?
So I started Her Village in 2016.
So you started it.
Mm-hmm.
This is your organization.
Yeah, this is my baby.
Your baby.
One of my babies. So I started this organization in 2016 just because I knew what it was like to struggle, and I noticed that a lot of the moms in my community were struggling. But because I had went away to school and I had different connections, my struggle lasted for a very brief second. I was able to get a salary job and be able to kind of get on my feet. But a lot of the people in my community don't have that opportunity. They don't have that access. So we started with a community baby shower. And it went great. I loved it. The news came. But then I kept thinking, like, man, like, okay, we gave this mom a size 2 diaper. That baby's going to be out of that size 2 diaper in, like, next month. Like, what is she going to do? Like, what's the continuum? So I started looking up, like, support for moms. And at that time, there was, like, nothing. Like, most of the organizations that exist in the city now, they all started around, like, 2016, 2017. Like, at that time,
because that was when the need was there.
Exactly. There was, like, barely anything happening then. So that's when I started to come across the National Diaper Bank Network. And that's when that, like, little spark kind of said, okay, I'm going to start a diaper bank. I'm going to do this. And then last year, in February of 2020.
February 2020. Oh, yes, the before time.
Exactly, before. We literally launched, and we were, like, excited, and we're like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then March 13th, everything shut down, and we're like, oh, we're not going to do this. But then we started to notice that moms were going on Facebook. When I say we, I mean, like, me and my board. We started to notice that moms were, like, going on Facebook groups and, like, saying, like, hey, does anyone have diapers, or does anyone have formula? And at this point, we started to raise money, and we're like, hey, we have this money. Maybe we don't have a space, but I have a car. My husband will drive me around. So that's literally what we started doing. We just started driving around the Bronx, like dropping packages of formula and wipes and like period supplies in front of people's doors, waving at them and driving to the next spot. And then as we kept doing that, more people started to reach out. Organizations started to reach out, and now we have headquarters, and we're able to distribute to even more families.
That's fantastic. So this National Diaper Bank Network you speak of, we know them well. So we partnered with them last year before last, to do a big diaper drive, and then this year with the Alliance for Period Supplies. And so how many period supplies are you do flow kits?
Mm-hmm.
How many flow kits are you going through in a given month? It's about the 250 to 500.
Yeah, so some families have teenagers, right? So or there might be like
you might be 2 or 3 kits in a family because you got a couple of teenage menstruators.
Exactly.
And there's a flow kit. Hey, and it's the flying flow kit. So you put all this together, and so it could be tampons. It could be a pack of pads rather than breaking them down.
Right. So we have 2 of these. This is we call this like a regular flow kit. So our volunteers come and they pack this. Sorry about that. So we have 2 of these. So our volunteers will come and they'll pack this. This one has tampons, pads, and liners. So it has like the whole shebang. Kind of like we think like probably like a mom would probably use something like this. But then we have a white version of this, which is just pads for like new menstruators who aren't really as comfortable. We just want to get it done and keep it moving. That's what we say.
Exactly. And so how many period supplies are in one of these?
So this one is 35 because it has the tampons and the liners, and then the white one is 20.
Gotcha.
So I think like
it's a 1 month cycle.
Exactly.
It's a 1 cycle supply.
1 month.
It's a 1
just
cycle
for the 1
supply.
month. And like if a person comes to us and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna need a little bit more than that," like we're not like, "Here, take it," whatever you need. Like
if you need 1.5.
Exactly. Here you go. Just take the 2, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And so now, how are you distributing these? Are they distributed through other partners, or are you still dropping these off on
So
front
we're
steps?
not doing drop-offs, despite the fact that people keep begging us to bring things to them. We are not doing drop-offs anymore.
Flying flow kit again. Yay!
Families come here to our office, and they pick them up each month, which is about anywhere from 100 to 150 families each month. And we also have partners who come each month and pick up for their
local,
their like the families they serve. So because of that, we actually serve all 5 boroughs because of that and our individual distributions, which is really awesome. We always say even Staten Island because people always forget about Staten Island.
Even Staten Island.
We serve them
even
too.
Staten Island. Okay. So we have shown up to date with about just shy of 5,000 period supplies, about 1,100 pads, and then another like 3,800 tampons for you guys. And so, if you're giving out 35, that's supporting 120 individuals for a month.
Yeah, absolutely.
That will be supported. So roughly 1 month of what you guys do here, we've helped with that. But that's just what we dropped off today. What you have downstairs
is packed to the brim. I can't even walk in.
Packed to the brim, can't even walk in. 7 pallets of period supplies, and I have the numbers here.
I think it's like 67.
Yeah, it was 60,480.
Okay.
60,480 pads, which will supply you for
a very long time.
A good long time.
I mean, because of the need and because of the surplus, thank you guys so much. We've been reaching out trying to get them into more hands because I hate to have things sitting here when people need them. So we're always like, okay, how do we get these in hands quickly? So they maybe won't last as long as we were doing our slow drip kind of thing. But we're good. They're gonna reach more people because we're trying to get more people to that need them in the door so that they can have what they need.
And you can establish new partnerships with with new organizations throughout the 5 boroughs.
Exactly.
And get more pads in the hands of people who need them.
Exactly.
But really, if you think if it's 25 to 30 pads, for a month, you're really talking about about 2,000 people for a month. But that's still 2,000 people.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That can still go to their jobs and go to school and carry on with their lives.
And just
not being stopped by simple biology.
Shame-free dignity, just being able to just live their lives without having to worry about this thing on them all the time.
This thing, which impacts half the people we see every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Trying to normalize, the idea of normalizing menstruation is something that we have to do.
Yeah, listen, I have 3 girls. My daughters are 7 and 6, and they understand why periods happen, the purpose of them, how long, like they understand the whole thing. Because I never want it to be like this shameful thing. It makes me sad, honestly, because I didn't grow up that way. My house was very menstrual friendly, I guess you could say.
Menstrual friendly, yes.
Like my stepdad, who was my dad, he was amazing. He literally would go to the store and buy me chocolate, and I grew up in a very environment where it was a safe, it wasn't a shameful thing. So when I went out to school and grew up and I found out people are ashamed of it, it's one of those things I don't really understand because I didn't grow up that way. I understand, but I don't understand, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things we're constantly trying to break, constantly trying to just get more youth involved to talk about this thing. One thing I will say that's really exciting is that young people are not ashamed, and that they are just they're listen, we get periods and we don't care. And I just think that's beautiful, because then that means that we're breaking this cycle, and hopefully there will be a day where period stigma doesn't exist anymore. Or at least it won't be the majority, right? Because
it won't be so prevalent.
Yeah, it won't be a big thing. People can talk freely about this very normal aspect of life.
It's a very normal biological function, and I have a 15-year-old myself who menstruates, and it is, it's just perfectly normal. It's part of life. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Chantel, thanks so much for taking a few minutes with me. I appreciate it. We're thrilled to stop by here and to see your operation. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, thanks you guys so much.
All right, see you. Flip the camera. Bye. It is.
And since the pandemic, that seemed like it has raised the awareness to it. It has raised the need for it.
The one good thing, if you can say that, out of the pandemic is that highlighting poverty, working poor, people who are working 2, 3 jobs, but can still barely pay the rent, pay for their groceries, pay for period supplies, have to make decisions between whether or not they pay their rent or pay their insurance. Those kind of issues have finally entered the public consciousness.
Finally entered, yes.
As there's some people that still stick their head in the sand and they pretend that the problem doesn't exist because it's not happening in my neighborhood.
Right.
Well, your neighborhood is full of lovely, lovely privilege. That's nice for you. Can you please be aware that just right over there across town, there's someone who has to. There's a student, a college student, having to choose between food or period supplies. There's a working mom who has to choose between daycare or groceries.
Or she has to choose diapers or period supplies.
There's diapers or period supplies because for some reason
all
they're
those
not
basic needs.
They're not covered.
They're not covered.
Everybody poops. Half the population has a period. Half the population menstruates.
From age 14 to age 54, 5.
My offspring started at 10.
And there you go. Years and years.
And so it is an absolute essential basic need. So while I appreciate your thanks, I want to thank you for being here on the ground and taking care of your community. Because it takes a real servant's heart to see people struggling and decide, I am going to do something about that.
Yes.
And to provide the focus on diapers and period supplies and taking care of moms, taking care of families. Because there's lots of ways we help people who are, financially challenged. It can be food, it can be soup kitchens, it can be hot meals, it can be shelter, it can be clothes. But focusing in on these essential needs of diapers and period supplies is absolutely vital.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So thank you.
And thank you.
are here in Warren Township, New Jersey, the whopping metropolis of Warren. Here with the Moms Helping Moms Foundation. I'm here with Jordan and Judy from the Moms Helping Moms Foundation here in Warren. And we're standing in front of a giant wall of period supplies, pads, provided by you. Incognito pads, as you've seen at the other locations that we've been talking about, that are all donated from your donations to your house or your Hoovian team or FRC or CRC's bulk fund donations that resulted in giant walls of maxi pads. So Judy, how did Moms Helping Moms get started? When did you guys get started and how did you guys get started?
So we've been around for about 10 years now, and Bridget Cutler is our founder and Megan Deaton is our co-founder. And Bridget started this in her garage, and she saw a need. She read an article about a mother who was having trouble affording to formula and diapers, and she was thinking of putting her baby up for adoption, which is very sad. And Bridget thought, well, there must be other people in our community who have this, similar problem. So she felt that she was blessed and had more than enough for her baby. So she started asking friends, and they gathered all kinds of stuff, and then they put signs up around town that they were going to pass out baby essentials, and it just went from there. And the need has just grown. And we went from Bridget's garage to warehouses, and now we're in this great 3,000 square foot space.
So lots of diapers, You're part of the National Diaper Bank Network,
Yes.
Which we have supported, and which is also part of the Alliance for Period Supplies. They're,
Yep.
one and the same, but not the same there.
Right.
They're a program underneath. So you guys just got your big annual truckload, an entire tractor trailer, semi-trailer.
Yes.
How many diapers were in that?
About 230,000 plus diapers. A lot.
A lot. And so,
Yeah.
and then you were equally blessed by 11 pallets
Yes.
of period supplies that
Yes.
showed up shortly thereafter.
Yes.
You guys can't get the full sense of like how close the other pallets are to us right now and how very little space there's left in 3,000 square feet.
Yes.
Because it is full of awesomeness. And now, Jordan, you've been with the organization for how long?
Officially over a year.
Officially over a year. Now, you were saying earlier that since our pallets, which is about 96,000 period supplies, showed up on the 30th of August, so roughly a month and a half, 7 weeks. 7 weeks.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
7 weeks. How many have gone out?
Over 20,000, almost 21,000.
Almost 21,000 have gone out in the last 7 weeks. So
Yeah.
3,000 period supplies a week.
Yeah.
That's about 100 people. If the average, we've been hearing that the average person is using about 25 to 35 period supplies per person. Do you guys put together individual flow kits, or do your partners do that?
It varies. So for menstrual cups, we'll do like a little kit because there's like instructions and stuff. But for pads, it's usually just packs.
Just a pack of pads.
Yeah, but we are distributing anywhere from like 80 to 5,000 pads per partner.
Per partner.
Yeah.
And you have numerous partners in
Yes.
the area around Warren Township.
Yeah, we serve over 62 partners in in total. It covers all counties in New Jersey, so all 21 counties.
Gotcha. But with 21,000 pads going out so far, that's about 700 women for their annual cycle, for the monthly cycle.
Yeah.
Being supported, and that's just in the last 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely amazing. So how does 11 pallets rank in your history of period supplies donations?
The biggest and best donation we've ever gotten.
Ever.
Biggest and best ever. Yeah, I like how that sounds. I gotta
Yes.
admit, I like how that sounds. Yes, I do. I like it. Biggest ever. Yes, I like that.
Yes.
So yeah, thanks so much for showing us around today and welcoming us into your space. Folks, this is just another example of how you have made a huge impact in the lives of hundreds and hundreds of menstruators who have to make difficult choices every month. Do they buy food or do they buy diapers and period supplies? These are things that are getting more expensive every day, and things that in some states are still taxed. stupid, and in all states are not included in WIC programs.
Yep.
Equally stupid. Sorry. For people taking care of basic biological need, which half the population needs these. So thank you all for what you've done for the Direct Impact Project, and just a little taste of all the good that you're doing. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Hey folks, we are here at the Diaper Bank of Connecticut. I have that in the correct order. It's not Connecticut Diaper Bank.
Correct.
It is the Diaper Bank of Connecticut.
Correct.
And I am here with Janet, who's the executive director of the Diaper Bank, and Jennifer, who is the director, the program director for the Alliance for Period Supplies. You've seen her in other videos. So we are here in lovely North Haven, Connecticut. The best part about it is I'm only 30 minutes from my house. And I didn't have to drive through a nor'easter to get here, which is fantastic. So Janet, how long has the Diaper Bank of Connecticut been up and running?
We started in 2004 as the New Haven Diaper Bank, and then changed as we expanded our footprint throughout the state of Connecticut at some point in our history. We've given out over 28 million diapers since we started, yeah.
That's a lot of butts.
It's a lot of butts.
A lot of baby butts.
A lot of
covered.
babies' butts.
A lot of babies' butts. And so the main three things you guys do here are diapers. Obviously, it's in the name. But you also do incontinence supplies.
Correct. Incontinence supplies and period supplies.
And period supplies, like the wall of period supplies behind me, which are all these lovely incognito pads that you guys have seen this package over and over again. But 11 pallets here.
It's amazing.
We just dropped off another 5,000 period supplies, tampons, and pads, which takes the total donation to the Diaper Bank of Connecticut to over 100,000 period supplies. All done in 3 weeks. And we did the same thing at 4 other locations. So 450,000 total period supplies generated in 3 weeks by you, awesome humans. Well done, you. Very good job. Now, Jennifer, tell the folks a little bit more about the Alliance. How big is the whole Alliance, the nationwide program?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Alliance for Period Supplies is a national nonprofit organization that helps to support and develop over 130 individually operated nonprofit organizations that share our mission to end period poverty here in the U.S. So there's organizations all across the country that are doing this very similar work to that you are doing here in Connecticut, and we couldn't be any more grateful for the work that you are doing in getting period supplies to the people who need them the most. So thank you so much for all your work. From 2018, which is when we started with our founding sponsor, U by Kotex, we have been able to distribute over 40 million period products through our network. And so we are really, really, truly proud and honored to work with people like you and the rest of your team across the country. So thank you so much for all of your support.
You're
thank
very
you for
welcome.
reaching out to us again.
Again. Yeah, so it was interesting when setting up, we were like, we want to do period supplies. All right, how are we going to do this? We need to find shelters, maybe find different agencies and different community partners and do all this. And they were like, oh, hey, I found this Alliance for Period Supplies. Their address looks really familiar. It's the National Diaper Bank Network. Okay, we know these guys. Call them. Hey, Troy, how you doing? So that was really easy, and it's awesome to work with you guys again, and it is guaranteed not to be the last time. I absolutely guarantee that. Now, how many people do you support out of the Diaper Bank of Connecticut?
We are
on a monthly basis.
About 6,000.
Households.
Infants and toddler individuals, so either infants and toddlers, folks who need period supplies, and or senior incontinence products. So
6,000.
about 6,000 every month. Yeah.
Excellent. So how long will this last?
Ooh.
Roughly. 100,000.
100,000 every month.
So roughly 18,000 period products a month going out the door.
Yep. So
okay. So it'll last 5 months.
5 months.
That's
About 6 months.
That's a solid 5 months.
6 months.
Whereas during that 5 months, any additional donations you get in just get to keep extending and extending. And you guys may not be able to tell, this is a really, really small, intimate space that we're in. Echo, echo, echo. They have a very large warehouse here, and it's full. It's got lots, every room has got stuff in it, pallets in it, stuff getting ready to go out to various community partners all over the state of Connecticut. because you guys are in every county.
Every county in the state.
Every county in the state. So we were just in New Jersey, and they were the Moms Helping Moms Foundation. They have every county in New Jersey. They have a partner,
Yes.
and so we're reaching every corner of the state of New Jersey, every corner of the state of Connecticut, which is fantastic. And we've seen. So while this is a major operation, huge, we've also we've visited partners that are significantly smaller.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like-
Just like our friends at Her Village.
Our friends at Her Village, who are working out of a space that is about the size of these pallets.
And that's it.
And that's it. Just
Yeah.
this, that's their footprint in a tiny little office in Manhattan, because let's be honest, that's
Yeah.
still some expensive real estate.
Right?
And they're focused on, but still several hundred moms every month.
Right.
And whether it's several hundred or several thousand, the need is there, and organizations like yours that are meeting that need on a monthly basis is absolutely critical for people. Because no one should ever have to choose between groceries and diapers, or period supplies.
Right.
Like, these are choices. You know, I can understand choosing between groceries and going to Disney World. Okay, I get that. That's a distinct
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
But not whether or not you should get diapers or period supplies
Right.
or groceries or pay your
right.
rent. Like
Exactly.
these are things that should not be questions. So thank you both for everything you guys do at the national level and here at the state level for the state of
Thank
Connecticut.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
We couldn't do it without the support of organizations like you and individuals like you. So thank you for taking this on. We appreciate it so much.
Very welcome. So Fanthropists all around the world watching, thank you for everything you did for this direct impact project. You guys rock. See ya.
Thank you.